Hello everybody, and welcome to part 2 of the granny square continuous join as you go for hexagons. This is the Cozy Flowers blanket, and I'm in the process of turning it into a pattern for you guys. So I just wanted to make this video to go ahead and show you guys the join. And where we left off last time, the blanket was tiny, and so I went ahead and made the actual size of the blanket so that I could go ahead and wrap up the blanket pattern. And then I just decided I would show you guys the conclusion to the join here. So from part 1, you might want to go back and watch part 1, by the way, if you haven't, so that you can see where we are. I think I lost a stitch here, but part 1 ends right where I have our my next pieces ready to join, all in order that I want to join them. And the hexagon that goes first here is going to be right in this little angle here, just like this one. So this is our last row of hexagons. It's the far left-hand side of the blanket. So that's why we stopped here at this point, because then we're going to turn back around right there at that curve there. We're gonna zig and zag like we did for part 1. So that's why I ended here instead of, for example, down here. So you have to end wherever your next hexagon is going to be joined on. All right. Okay, and all of that is a short review from part 1. Also, I will do a little review of the joining on of the pieces before I go ahead and zip down the line. I wanted to do a small review of part 1 at the beginning here. So here's where I ended. My increase, my 3DC and my 2DC chain. Okay, pick up my next motif. This is just a review. Put 2 DC in the corner. And then remember, fold your motifs over each other and make your slip stitch in between. Now you've got your next 3. Okay, work into the next slip stitch. Two more DC. And now where I'm at my corner, well, what I'm going to do is insert my hook in the first one, pull up my yarn, insert my hook in the second one, pull up my yarn, and pull that loop through both of those, kind of like a slip stitch. Okay, so this is just review, so I'm going pretty quick. You might want to go back and watch the first part. Okay. All right, slip stitch, 3 DC, okay, make a slip stitch, and then when we do our 2 DC, we don't join it, we don't make our slip stitch yet, if you recall. Okay, I'm going to make my chain 1 instead, and then pick up my next motif, which is a pink. All right, go into any chain for me, but for yours it'll be the corner. Mine's a circle. Okay, so 2 DC and then skip the corner and go straight into that next space there. All right, and then we're just going to continue on. So I'm going to back up and show you where we're at right now. Then I'll meet you back when I'm at the top of the blanket, when I have all of the motifs joined on. Okay, and we'll do a review of how we come back down to, and then we'll finish our piece. Yay. Alrighty, so now I have all of my motifs joined on, and you're like, what are all these little ends? But I work the end in when I approach it, so I'll work those in as I go. I'm all the way at the top of the blanket now, and ready to go around this hexagon and join on as instructed in part 1 in like a C motion. The sun's kind of playing tricks with my camera. But I also have a visitor. So it's making it a little bit difficult to work on the blanket, but I'm going to have to shoo her away. So I will go ahead and join the rest of these motifs and go all the way back using the instructions from part 1. I just wanted to kind of show you guys, remind you guys how it looks when you're making the blanket. And then when I'm at the very bottom, I'll show you how we're going to finish the blanket going all the way around the piece. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm pausing here because I wanted to show you guys, this is a continuous join. So you might run into the problem where you run out of yarn, and that is where I'm at right now. So what I do is I cross one over the other, like I'm gonna make a regular knot. And then I just go ahead and, you know, pass the leading one underneath and make my knot like I'm about to tie my shoes. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the top, but I'm going to wrap twice. So now the yarn I've been working with the whole time that went under is going to go over now. All right, so now I've got my X again and my hole that I'm going to go into. And then I go under and through, and I go under and through again. Okay, so I've wrapped once on the bottom, but you can see I've wrapped twice on the top. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure that everything closes properly so nothing overlaps on itself while I'm closing the knot. And if it starts to, then I just make sure so that's how it's supposed to look right there. So I just make sure the whole time it stays where it's supposed to look. It stays how it's supposed to look. So now pull both sides tightly, the bottom and the top tails, pull it all nice and tightly. Okay, and this is not going anywhere. This knot is gonna stay. I can yank on it, and just because of that extra little twist that you put in the top, it's not going anywhere. So, because it's not going anywhere, here's my two ends here. This is where I cut this knot. Okay. I can hear you gasping. I did this on another video too, and it's like, I feel like I'm also gasping. So I just clip the ends, yank, yank. It's not going anywhere. And now I don't have to tie those ends. And because this is like a cozy blanket, I don't care where my color changes. So I just wanted to pause and show you guys that, because I'm sure you're gonna be faced with that situation of adding on a new ball of yarn, especially with the continuous join. Okay, so I'm still gonna be trucking along. I just have 2 more motifs to work around, and I'll see you guys when I'm at the end of the blanket. All right, so now I'm at the very bottom of the blanket, and I did work all the way around the hexagon, all because we would normally stop, you know, here for the next hexagon to be joined on. But since we're at the end of the blanket, I go ahead and come to the corner all the way here, and I'll show you guys what to do for the raw edge. But I wanted you guys just to see, when you do a continuous join, the top edge and the left-hand side edge are completely finished, but the bottom edge and the right-hand side are raw edges. So now it's time for us to work the bottom, across the bottom and up the side. And this corner here is where we started our join. So we're gonna end up also in the same place where we started, since this is a continuous join. And that's about it. So right now I'm gonna show you guys how I deal with the bottom, with the corners whenever we meet this corner here. All right, so here we go. Okay, I lost a stitch there, so let me put it back in. Okay, I got my 2DC, and all I'm gonna do is slip stitch. It's as easy as that. I have a chain here where I've turned around when I was working the join. So I go into the chain, and slip stitch, and that's it. That's all you do. So now you work your 2DC for the next corner. And mine is all different colors because, you know, like I said, this is a cozy blanket where I'm using up remnants. So if yours is just the same color joining, obviously you're not going to have all these funky color changes where you got the split corner going on. But this is a really good illustration of how the continuous join as you go is just a total fake on the corners. You know, this is not a corner made up of 2DC, chain 1, 2DC, even though it looks like it is. So that's just a really nice illustration there of how it ends up looking like it's just a regular old join as you go. So, but that took me forever to grasp. Once it clicked, I thought, oh, I get it. So you just have to come up with, you know, some fancy footwork to be able to make any join as you go be continuous. And it saves time, it saves yarn. You don't have to weave all the ends. You could just, it saves time for me because every time I clip the end, when I'm working a regular join as you go, every time I cut the yarn and finish a motif, that's like an opportunity for me to get distracted. Every time I cut the yarn, it's like, okay, I finished with that one. Now let me, you know, scroll through Instagram or, you know, and it's never a couple minutes. It's always like 30 minutes totally lost. So basically, if I can take any type of breaks out of my joining, then I'll be way less distracted, and that will let me get done super fast, a lot faster. All right, so now I'm to the next one. I worked my sides plain, just working around the motifs now. Okay, so obviously we're just gonna slip stitch right here, and I'm just gonna work, I'm gonna pause the video and work all the way around the entire blanket, just doing this slip stitching into this and working around the rest of the sides plain. And I'll meet you guys when I'm at the very beginning corner of my piece. Okay, in this bright, nice and shiny yellow. All right, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes. You can see where the berry color is meeting up with the yellow, and that is exactly where we started our join. So we went all the way around the blanket in a continuous path and finished up our piece. You can see mine has the purple edging, and like I said, it's supposed to be a cozy look, so I really don't mind the mismatched colors. But that's it. That's all for this join. So I hope you guys liked it, and of course, like and subscribe. I do a new video just about every Thursday, and I specialize in joining methods right now. I will be doing more videos of motifs and things like that, but for now, it's all joining videos. So look through my playlist, and you'll see all these different types of joins. This is the Cozy Flowers blanket, and so this free pattern is available on my website at cyprestextiles.net. for you guys. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time for our next joining method. Bye guys, happy crafting.